I'm Jennifer from Unveiled Wife, and today we have Latisse with us who's going to share just how Wife After God has changed her marriage. So, hi Latisse, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited for this interview. So, let's jump in, and can you just share a little bit about who you are?
Sure. My name's Latisse. I have been married 6 years in July. We've been together for about 14 years. I have one child. He's 11 years old. And I'm interested. This Wife After God community, this is a great community for wives. And I've been following Jennifer for some time now. And I'm so excited. I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited because you actually have a special project that you and your husband are working on together. Can you share with the community what that is?
Sure. We have an Instagram page for those who are familiar with Instagram. Our page is Husband Wife for Life, and it's a page just it's for the marriage community. And daily we put up posts, often with Bible scriptures, and it's geared towards the marriage community. And it's fun, so we enjoy it. Follow us. We have fun with it. And it's really proven to be a blessing for us. For us.
Awesome. So everyone listening right now, go check them out. And I'll make sure that the link gets put in the description of this video too. So let's jump into Wife After God. Today we're going to be talking about chapter 28, which is intimacy in marriage. And Latisse, if you could just share a little bit about maybe what stood out to you in this chapter, that would be awesome.
One of the things that really stood out to me in this chapter was how the chapter really specified that intimacy is not just sex in marriage. Intimacy is a broader picture, and I do have some notes here that I wrote down. Just want to make sure I hit them all. True intimacy is more than just sex. It's the oneness between the husband and the wife. And I like to kind of use the phrase, it's kind of like the glue almost. It's the glue that kind of brings that intimacy together. And you can experience different types of intimacy other than just sex. So that was one of the highlights for me in the chapter, because I was glad to see that was brought forward, because many people tend to just correlate the word intimate with sexual intimacy.
So can you explain to the community what some of those other types of ways to create intimacy in marriage look like?
Sure. For me, I think for me, it's all about communication, because communication on so many levels can be intimate in just itself. Sharing those different thoughts, in a peaceful and a loving way. And it's like you get to know your spouse even better, and getting to know those intimate parts about my spouse, the way that he feels about a certain issue, or and just kind of collaborating upon that, or just being by each other, quality time, it's a good thing, but really kind of letting our guards down and sharing those things with each other. It makes me feel one with him. It makes me feel, intimate. And we've been together for years, and there's still new things that I find that I didn't know about him, like, oh, I didn't know that, but just that quality time, that communication, that we just kind of let our guards down, and it's comfortable. That's the part of the intimate part. It has to be, both. We have to be comfortable around each other in order to kind of let that guard down, and then all of everything else starts to flow after that. So for me, that's my main other, one, other than physical sexual intimacy. It's the communication part in regards to the intimacy that is really a good one for me.
Well, what do you think keeps wives from initiating intimacy in marriage, whether it's physical, sexual intimacy, or like you're talking about, that communication?
Well, I have to say, number one, flat out, being selfish.
Mm.
And I think that wives do it unintentionally. You kind of get into a place where you're giving, and you're giving. And sometimes it's like, I don't want to initiate. I'm always initiating, and we kind of get into a rut with that. Or, you just plain flat out, just like, I want this,
Mm.
and that will get in the way, of especially initiating the intimacy, because, you have an agenda. It's all about you, or you're just tired of always doing it. And I think that if we realize that, the service of giving, and if you have to be the one to initiate it, but just that service of giving and making your husband feel loved and wanted, you know,
Yeah.
that in itself, to make my husband happy, that is my happiness,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I feel fulfilled in that. And I think it takes a while to get there, but once you're there, everything is complete,
Mm.
and you're going to get it. You get it back. He will, eventually start initiating, if that is the problem, who initiates first. But I think a lot of time that selfishness, gets, that will block you from even seeing, you know, um, I need to do this first. If just get into that constant service and understanding that making his happiness a priority, it's gonna it's gonna work out for me, and that's the way that that's for me selfish. That will definitely kill the initiating part of it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of us can totally relate to that. And there's a great book called Love and Respect by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs, who talks about that crazy cycle and how ultimately it comes down to someone just needs to break it. Someone just needs to initiate. And we have to get over that selfishness in order to experience true intimacy in marriage. So, yeah, I would love to just, anyone that wants to check out that resource, it's great. So, do you have a specific story maybe in your marriage where intimacy was affected by something and maybe how you tried to improve it? Or
Definitely. I think for me, I may speak for a lot of wives out there. I am a working wife. I am also a mother, and as a job every day, it's demanding as it is. I'm a nurse. I spend all of my days giving and serving to people. That needs my help, and it's so fulfilling. And sometimes coming home, I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed, and I don't want to give anymore because I feel like I've given everything that I've got, and that's not fair. And I think that over a period of time, I have learned to kind of leave work at work, because when you bring that stress into the home environment, it's going to trigger down on any type of intimate moment. Because one, I'm coming home, I'm stressed, I need some downtime, and I don't want to be bothered, and that's not fair. And if I come into the environment with that, I can't expect my husband to want to let his guard down around me, or my guard is not even down, so we're not even at that peaceful atmosphere to where we can share those moments or be loving with each other, because I'm already coming in with my guard up, and I'm just like, no. But I think what I've learned, like I said, is to leave those things at work. And if it takes me taking a few more, rides around the block just to blow off some steam, I found that coming into the house, and letting the home be a peaceful haven, and just keeping it that, it's like I'm happy to come home, because it's like, this is peace, this is home, and that is going to just help the atmosphere. It's going to be the gateway, that love and peace is going to be the gateway for the intimacy. And that was for me, my solution was just figuring out ways to kind of de-stress from a work environment, or just
yeah,
a stressful day period,
yeah.
so that I can come home and I can be able to serve, and I can be able to give my all, to my family, to my husband.
And it is possible. It just requires that intentionality.
Yep.
Like you said, just taking those few extra minutes around the block or whatever we need to make a conscious effort
Yep.
to bring that peace with us. That's really important.
Definitely.
Well,
Definitely.
is there one thing that God's been teaching you lately that would be an encouragement for the other wives in our community to hear?
Sure. I think, I have learned so much by putting my husband first. under God, after God. Um, Putting my husband first, it sounds it's kind of one of those things that's kind of hard for us to do. I think as women, period. Because there's so many other things that are important. But I have learned that putting my husband first in just about everything, considering him in any type of decision that I'm making, be it with work, family life, personal life, social life, it has been such a blessing, to kind of prioritize things after that, and I mean, it's been such a blessing. I think it's one of the building blocks for my marriage. And, we've only been married 6 years, but, in that 6 years, that has been one of the main things that has worked so well for our marriage. And it's getting better. It's getting better and better, and just being a young couple, and being able to realize that, my husband is first. And I think if, wives, if we kind of get that same attitude, and sometimes, work and kids, it kind of gets in the way. But putting my husband first has been working for me. And I'm loving married life right now.
That's awesome.
I'm loving it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful words with us today. And thank you for just the inspiration that you provide for other marriages, you and your husband doing the husband-wife for life. And I'm just praying that you guys continue to take that far and wide, because marriages need it.
Yeah.
And so thank you for this interview, and thank you for the wisdom that you shared with us.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay, bye.
Bye.